Welcome to the agenda with me, Lasha Kingsley in Douala, Cameroon. On today's edition of the program, we are going to be discussing leadership in the ever-changing world, and we are going to be doing that with leadership coach Roland Kwemain, who has 27 years of experience doing business. He has also been coaching for 23 years. And a company he created some 15 years ago has also been doing great in ensuring that leadership in the entire African continent becomes the vision of that company he created 15 years ago. Stay with us as we'll be right back after this short jingle break. Coach Roland.
Me.
Yes, it's another edition of the agenda, Coach Roland Kwemain, and today we are going to be talking about something that is really of preoccupation. We are talking about leadership that has apparently failed globally. If you're looking at the global level, many people are questioning if leadership is still relevant in today's world.
I thought I'll answer that leadership is very relevant. It's even crucial. Now I think the world is at the crossroad, and many people are asking themselves, where are we going? What is happening? You know, at the end of the day, who is in charge? So I think leadership is quite capital, and to say leadership has failed is a point of view that many are sharing, because there's no leadership without service, without impact, without solution-oriented. So I think during this conversation, we'll have the time to demonstrate if yes or no, leadership has failed. But for me, I will put it differently. Do the world need leaders today than yesterday? I will say yes.
And now, talking about leadership, is leadership still relevant in the age of decentralization and activism? Because we're seeing a lot of decentralization, a lot of activism in the world now. Do we still need leadership?
Yes, we need. I think we have come out from a system that had hierarchy and control, yes. Authority, in a system where with all this activism, with power shifting to the periphery, I think leadership is still very, very crucial. But now, which type of leadership in the midst of this current world? I think I will say it will be a leadership that is human-driven. Humans should be at the center. A leadership that is technology-driven, but leadership that must be result-oriented. So I think at the end of the day, humans should be at the center. Why are we having this decentralization? Why are we having active citizens or civil society being so active? Why people are complaining? Why people are criticizing? Why all this noise? And again, we need leaders or leadership that need to address all those issues. There will be no blame game, no accuse game, or no complaint game.
Yes, before we contextualize the concept of leadership, Roland, with our own local realities, probably there's a misconception about leadership. And now, if we have to look at that misconception, what is the biggest misconception about leadership today, Roland Kwemain?
I think the biggest misconception is to think that leadership is titleship. No, we should make a clear difference between titleship and leadership. If Kingsley, you are editor-in-chief in this media, it's titleship. It doesn't make you a leader. Yes. If you are a governor, you are the chairman of the company, you are a minister, you are a parliamentarian, you are a president of the republic. Those are titles. Those titles do not automatically make you a leader. Leadership is a different, has nothing to do with title. I've been defining, and I think the biggest misconception, if you do a vox pop now, ask that give me the name of 2 or 3 leaders, they will give you the mayor, the governor, the general manager, the president of no. Big mistake. Because to be a leader is essentially having a vision. Now, let me not get you wrong. You can be a president and you're a leader. You can be editor-in-chief and you're a leader. But those titles do not make you automatically. That's why I say the biggest misconception is the fact that many people thought that when they appoint you, an appointment do not make you a leader. It's an appointment. It's a decree. Even an election, it gives you some power. It gives you some responsibility. But now, are you going to perform? At the end of the day, the measurement is going to be the impact you will create. So, if at the end of the day, you don't achieve your goals, why you are appointed, why you were elected, I'm sorry, you are not a leader.
Probably goals differ. Some goals might not be what will impact the community. The goals might be selfish goals.
And then, if that's the case, why were you a leader? There's no leadership without service. There is no leadership. I mean, we will turn it around, Kingsley. Or you can define it, you can bring intellectuals, we can go to all civilization. I'm very blessed that I've done the world. I've traveled around the world. I've done conferences in almost 100 countries in the world. So I know the culture of the world. I'm a world citizen. By the way, every part of the world, it is essentially defined by service. I mean, all what we are saying, if at the end of the day, you don't deliver, you are not. Now, if you became leader to have money for yourself and your family, then that's good. But you are everything except a leader.
Just that title.
Yes.
Roland, how has the definition of leadership changed or evolved over time?
No,
probably the past 2 decades.
I think scholars wrote a lot. There have been a lot of school of thought, transactional leadership, situational leadership, transformational leadership. So a lot of write-ups, a lot of research. Even Go Ahead, in the past 15 years, we have done a lot. I've published 3 books on leadership. So, but again, I think I would see the tendency on 3 aspects where we need, if we have those 3 elements, then I think we're on a good track. Essentially, human-driven. More and more, if you see even in the Western world, in the East, even in Africa, when you see people are crying, in the introduction of the program, what you identify as challenges is because people are not happy. This war, conflict, is human.
War in Ukraine.
It's because human. So
Israel,
it's human. Again.
Cameroon, you cannot drive in your cities because of death.
No. It has a huge impact on human. People are not satisfied. So it must be human-driven. Number 2 is the technology. Today, artificial intelligence must integrate, or leaders must integrate technology. We must be technology-driven. Not technology slaves, not technology gurus, but we must integrate it in the way we are managing our organization, or leading our organization. And last but not the least, at the end of the day, leadership is major. There must be impact. So for me, those are the evolution for the past 2 decades. And this is something we should take in consideration when we are in this process, in this amazing journey called leadership.
Now let's talk about coaching and mentorship in the African continent, because let's talk about our own local realities.
Thank you. I said you
want it to
be more local. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm
to
fine.
To talk about the fight between Zelensky and Donald Trump at the White House.
It's a bit far from us.
Yes. Okay. Now, why is leadership coaching more crucial than ever before? I mean, talking in the African continent today.
No,
people look at it to be a white man's concept, and what is this man saying? You are inventing some kind of concept that do not even have impact on us.
I think I had a long conversation with some of the African coaches in the forum where we are, and I'm happy because many joined me. And coaching is not a Western concept. I'm sorry, people think the Western world they did what modeling. They documented it. They wrote, but in our African tradition, we had coaches. If you go to our route, even in the village, Kingsley,
you should go and ask for
Thank
pieces
you.
of advice.
Advice. What are you
from old
telling
people
me?
in the quarters.
So be
You
careful.
want to do this,
Yes.
you ask them,
You
what
ask.
should I do this? If I have to do this, what are the consequences? They will tell you.
They tell us. So let us take it easy. Now the difference is not documented. It's not written in a book. I agree with you. It was more an oral, but we had even for marriage, there was a preparation. The young lady, for even a young person to become a chief, there's a whole process. All our tradition, they will take you, you go to the juju house, there's a whole process, you had the note. So be careful. It might not be written. Yes, I agree with you. But to say that it's a Western concept is not true. Now, Go Ahead Africa, when I started 15 years ago, we built all our initiative, our programs on our African proverbs, African wisdom, but we were open also to accept that from the Western world, they have conceptualized, they have documented, they have data, the science. So it's not African against the Western world. It's from our African perspective. How do we see it? So I want to say coaching, especially the leadership and the corporate coaching. You can see, I can say from when we started the organization to now, we are more than 85 clients, company, big organization. I want to tell you, in the corporate world, they will not give you a contract because you look good, because you smile, you speak English or French well. No.
You have to prove your worth.
Thank you so much. They must have, they have what they call the key indicator performance. They must measure it. You sign a contract by saying, I will deliver this, and they measure it. And at the end of the day, the contract will be maintained or cancelled. So if in the corporate world, you are relevant, you are outstanding, believe me, it means that what you are doing is great. Now, to answer to your question on a very serious note, Kingsley, coaching in Africa is very, very important. To understand why, coaching is essentially having these corporate leaders, if I take the case of our organization, that come to us and they seek more for self-awareness because they are doing things. And the mix of the environment that you have described in the beginning of our conversation, because you said, okay, Coach Round, let us come back, we are not far. Let us not be far. Our business leaders, if we take in Cameroon, the energy, challenging, right? You even in this, how do you do? How is your boss doing? Number two, maybe he has big issues even on advertisement contract, because if companies are not doing well, they will not advertise. He has to pay you guys salaries. He has to pay social security. He has to invest. So when that leader, with all those challenges, then not to talk about the political conversation where they are telling him he will work, he will not work, there might be war,
if
there
you don't do
crisis,
this, you don't
taxation. So in the midst of all this guy is a human being with his weaknesses, with his stress, with his frustrations, with his doubt. He needs now to come with an organization or a consultant that is not as passionate, that is not in the midst of all his trouble, to come out and help him to say first, or reorganize things, listen to him, advising him, trying to ask him what are plan A, plan B, plan, and at the end of the day, helping him to be the better version of who he is. With some tools, now that's science, because it's not done by prayers, with tools, with a lot of analysis, diagnostics, with science, with technology, and at the end of the day, he has a clear understanding of the stakeholders, a clear understanding of his goals. He anticipates. So it's a whole science that works. And I think Africa needs coaching leaders in Africa. We
Yes,
need a
let's
lot of
forget
coaching.
about the old people
Yes,
and go down
yeah,
to talk
yeah.
about the young people.
Yes.
Now, how can mentorship reshape the professional and of course personal trajectory of young people in the African
I
continent?
think mentorship is
So
really.
if you want to talk to them, some of them will tell you it's only talk. They only
No,
talk,
I think
talk.
it is important first for those who have made it
Mhm.
to be available to support these young people, because mentorship is quite great, because you first you empower young people.
But some people will not want to empower you
That's-
because they want to be king
I'm
in their
giving the
communities alone.
I'm giving the advantage that if you are king alone, then it's dangerous, because if you fall, the community falls. It's better, it means that you are not a great person. Great leaders produce leaders, not followers. Great leaders empower other leaders. Now, there's advantage of mentorship, because you empower these young people. They look up to you like a role model, because they need role models in the society. Number 3 is that they will not make the same mistakes, because you already did it. So you can tell them, be careful here, do here. And at the end of the day, the community is also very powerful, because if you have young people that are well trained, that have a good self-confidence, that have good value system, and that even have dream for themselves and for the community, we have a powerful community. So I will encourage leaders to send helping hand to these young people. By the way, at the end of the day, they might be ungrateful, so don't mind. So I'm preparing you. Some will not say thank you. Some will not appreciate.
But at least if the community is advancing, there's no problem.
That's
now.
it. So just do your part and do it. But I've been doing that for many, many years, and I'm happy. And if I can help young people, I will just continue helping them. And I'm encouraging other leaders to
Now-
do that. To
now
just
let's
do
talk
that.
leadership and social responsibility.
Yes.
Nowadays, you have some leaders who are involved into activism,
Yes.
and a lot more. Should leaders be activists? Where is the balance? Where should we strike the balance?
Yes, but maybe not activists, because all depend on the environment where you are. There are some environment that are quite violent. Some people go into politics to protect themselves and protect their business.
Yes.
It's not by conviction. Some also stand out and say what they think, and they will pay the price.
For saying what they think.
What they think. And some have decided just to be neutral. They don't belong. If it's good, okay. It's not good, okay. They are there. Now, I will advise that you follow your conviction. When you are a man or a woman of conviction, it's amazing. It means you are a fulfilled person. Do what passionate. What is your passion? Follow that
But
dream.
you said a while ago that for the leaders, the titles are different from leadership. So
Yeah.
what is ideal for people? What is ideal
In this case,
for you to be a leader? Like you were mentioning, in an environment that probably is hostile. When
Yes.
you say something, you pay the price.
yes.
I don't want to start citing.
No, well, I agree, but I would say I will advise the individual to follow your dream, because at the end of the day, if there's something that is quite sad, is to have regret. When we sleep, some people go to bed, they don't sleep. They're conscious. They start to regret. I will have done this. I will have done that. I will have said this. I will have done that. So I will feel sad that at the end of the day, when I say at the end of the day, at the end of your journey, maybe in the position or on earth, when we die, that's the best. Because most of the time they ask me, but Coach Roland, you speak a lot about vision. Vision, what is a vision? For me, the vision is the equivalent of a legacy. And there's no leadership without legacy. Let me explain to you, Kingsley, and to our televiewers. If you want to know what will be your legacy, just think that you are dead and you are sleeping there. When we die, there are 3 types of people that will speak. There might be 40, 50, 100, but there are 3 categories. The first person that will speak in terms of testimony is a friend. A friend will come and say, Roland was like this, Kingsley was like this, he was a good person. A friend will speak. Now the question is, which type of friend are you? You are. The second person that will speak is a colleague. A colleague will come and say something. He was an outstanding professional. He did this, he did that. He will speak. And the third person that will speak is a member of the family. It might be your kid, or your wife, or the husband. He was an amazing father. Now let me give you an anecdote. When I used to be the assistant president of CMA in the huge diocese of Boya in those days, when Kuma was on the diocese, I told the zonal president, that when there is a member who died, I want to take upon me to go there. I want, as the assembly, to go for the funeral, because it's very important for us to say goodbye to our death, especially our standing member. Now, I remember we went to that death ceremony, and the testimonies were going on, but I was watching at the widow, the lady, the mommy. Her body language, I'm a professional coach. The body language was bizarre. I told myself, this mommy is not just sad that the father is sleeping, the husband is dead. I mean, from her body language, Kingsley, I knew there was something wrong. The level of sadness was not a sadness that she has lost her husband. And guess what? I was not wrong. Now, I heard her, my pidgin is good. I'm a Mutengene boy. I heard her saying to the children, when people come and she asked the children, you dey sure? Say, now papa dey for this coffin. She asked the kid, are you sure that the person in the coffin
is your father?
Is your father? She was asking the kid. Kingsley, are you seeing my story? What does that mean? I'm sorry to say, Papa Peter sleeping there,
he's not your father,
was not a good person. Because all the testimony were lies. People were saying lies. I mean, good things, which is a tradition to say good things
about somebody who is dead.
But the widow was, I watched her body language. I said, she asked the kid that the theater going on there, the drama, how long this drama will go. I heard, Kingsley, I'm not saying my bishop was not far, I was like this. I said, what is going on? And now when she received us, she spoke to us. She was so angry, she didn't want to receive us. It means that all her life was hell.
The husband was so terrible.
Thank you so much. So, that day, let us not push people to come and be lying and lying and lying. Now, why do you push me to tell you this story? It's up to us when we're alive to make sure, and I've written in my Facebook the 5 barometers, that in the career, we have a good career by being professional. If I work here, I work well, so that day people don't come and say lie, invent story to please. The second is family. Don't be running your mouth, you're a good president, you are this, but home, you have kids outside, you don't respect your wife. It's hell upon hell. Your wife is the saddest person on earth because she's going. I bet you're in the church, you are singing praises, but your wife, your children, they say this man is a drunkard, he has cheat all over the places, I don't want to judge people, but you have to be very careful. Number 3, friends. You never support. If they cannot call you at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., Kingsley, to tell you, look, if a friend cannot call you at 2 a.m. to tell my son is sick, or my mother is need blood, we're rushing to the hospital. If they have never called you at 2 a.m., 1 a.m., those type of, you are not a friend. You are just those off license. You are not. Number 4, the community. If you don't find time to go and do something for others without expecting anything, what we have called CSR or individual social responsibility, you are an outstanding journalist. Find time, go to a journalism school once every quarter and go and train. Do a master class for free before you complain that the educational system is a nonsense and this. What are you doing to fix and to help. And number 5 is the spiritual life. I'm not talking about religion, because people make confusion, go to the church 10 times a day, wear uniform, and do those theater. No, it's the level of your faith, your relationship with God. So I wanted just to give you this element to say, at the end of the day, my dear Kingsley, there is no leadership without legacy. But the legacy is not something invented. It's not something that you work towards it, so that day is so natural. When people are speaking,
there are some people that when they die now, after a few days,
yes,
they forget about them.
Yes.
You have people like Mandela, you call their name, they start telling you stories about them.
You see transformational leadership. So leadership has nothing to do with title. Another example, when I JCI president, I asked for books. I keep telling this story. I will tell it again today.
Yes.
And I received 54 books out of the 71 countries I did. I received 44 books. And I was asking a book on the personality that have had a huge impact in the country that I visited. I had 54 books. Out of the 54 books, just 3 are head of state. In the countries I went, they gave me books.
54 countries.
Yes, but only 3 books were books
about the head of state.
So this is a proof that you can be president, but you have no impact, and young people don't even remember you. I had only 3 presidents out of and it is.
Who should be Mandela?
Mandela is there. So it's just appendix in the book, the impact of one. So I put it as appendix, the list of books I received as gift, and I asked book that were book on persons that had a huge impact in the country. If I visited Jamaica, I say I want a book on someone that had a huge impact in the history of Jamaica. They gave me a book, Bob Marley.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Marcus Garvey. So,
okay. Now, the coach, what role should corporate leaders play in addressing social justice and economic inequalities? Because most of these problems are...
There are those who are real football fans and who can turn a small corner into a huge fiery stadium stand. Those who take all the time in the world to run their errand and then pay in the blink of an eye. Also those whom, no matter the distance, can always count on a credit alert from a loved one. There are those who always want to check up on their girls in UB. Well, you know how mothers are. There are those who simply want to call Bay, and for all of that, they need Orange Super 4G network. That's why we've been here for 25 years. Me and all the teams working all over the country. Manka is here. Orange is here.
Pay your taxes and custom fees at Express Exchange. The solution is close to you. Enter an Express Exchange agency, head to the cash register with your tax notice, and make your payment of tax and custom fees with ease. Receive a confirmation receipt. So cool, Mula. Yes, Mula. From now on, I pay my taxes and custom fees at Express Exchange. It's simple. Express Exchange, partner of the Guild and the Directorate General of Taxation. Express Exchange, #1 in quality service in Cameroon.
Of these problems that we are having, people crying, complaining, is because of these inequalities which exist. People want to amass wealth for themselves. They don't care about the others.
Yeah.
You are giving money to fix a road like what we are experiencing in Cameroon recently, a road that is at 93% complete, but the realities on the ground do not conform with what the minister has said.
I think it is important for corporate leaders to know that it's not just about benefit now. Organization or corporate organization, they have 3 main goals. The first goal is profit, so there is no debate
but
on
you
that.
cannot make profit to the detriment of the local population.
You must do it, but the second P here is the personnel. Even the staff of your company, social security, health insurance, fair treatment, the way so you see that. Then there is the P of the population. Population are the people where you have invested, where you are doing business. You must pay back to that population. You must. What we call CSR. So I think it's important for the corporate leaders to think about the 3 Ps. Profit, good, and I know they don't joke with that P, but the personnel, because for me they are #1 client. If you treat well your personnel, they will treat well the client. And the last P is the population. Please make sure that where you are, where your company
It's located.
located, you must have initiative to support the community. And to do is not complicated. Identify associations, try to go maybe to the chief, the quarter head, to the council, and ask what are the different initiatives of the community. What do they need? Don't go in your office and just, I see they go and paint classes with their color. They call it CS. I have an issue with that. That's more advertisement. No, I think you go to the population, ask them what are their needs, what do they want. You'll be surprised they know what they want. And you see how it must be a co-construction. Don't sit and just do. You might be surprised that's not what they want. And that's why most time our projects are not sustainable. You know, you do benches, and if they ask for benches, then give them benches. But if you'll be surprised, they can ask that they want to create a center to learn tailoring. You see, now you create a center with 3-4 machines.
You give them.
You give them. The community, maybe they want matière première to produce, I don't know. Ask them. Let us do the grassroots approach. We go to the grassroots. What do you need? How can I help you people?
Not the kind of assistant people go
See,
give you stuff, then take pictures and brandish on social media.
I'm afraid.
Okay, cool.
It's
Now
not sustainable.
Let's talk about personal leadership.
Yes.
I know as a leader, you've been doing business for 27 years and coaching for 23 years.
Yes.
What has been the toughest decision that you made so far as a leader?
I think it's more like separating with some of the staff, that the vision and the values were not matching. You know, it is quite challenging to have staff that can create toxic situation in your organization. And sometimes one or two I can still remember outstanding. I mean, extremely competent, but at the certain time,
You need to let go.
let go. And it's quite difficult.
For their own good, or
Pardon?
for your own good, or the good of your company?
No, the good for the good of the company. The good of the company. And because even leaders, we are human beings, we are attached to some of our staff. When I say attached, you know, you admire them, you want to support them, and some at sometimes they become even a problem, especially for the collaboration and cohesion of the organization. If that's the case, let go. It has been, for me, that if not, it has been a journey. There have been challenges, infrastructure that all know, energy, the air, but these are common challenges that we have been facing for many years. But it's important to be resilient.
Okay. Now let's talk about the most unconventional leadership lesson that you have learned so far. You said you were GCI president. In 2010, you traveled over 100 countries so far.
Yes.
You have been coaching companies and also advising governments around the world on how they have to go about leading their people. What has been one of these, unconventional leadership quality that you've adopted in carrying out your work?
You'll be surprised is the listening skills. You know, when I was GCI president, I met great leaders worldwide. But I've put them in two categories. I've told you this story, and I will tell it again. When I finish an audience with like a head of state, sometimes I came out and I looked stupid. I myself was like, "Oh, Roland, you're a very stupid guy. You are not intelligent." Second possibility, I finish an audience and I come out, I'm like, "Wow, Roland, you are very intelligent." Now, Kingsley, what has changed is my vis-a-vis, is the people that receive me. I was still the JCI president. Almost the same message. It's still Roland Kwemain. Why do with one, I think I'm stupid, and with the second person, I think I'm intelligent? Because there are some leaders that will do everything to humiliate you. In the conversation, they want to humiliate you. If they don't humiliate you, they don't feel happy, because their leadership is essentially defined by their title, by the power, you know. So they need to make sure that you are nobody. Then you have other leaders they will surprise you. They will say, Kingsley, how? Wow, you are very intelligent. How do you do to prepare your program? How do you do to master the you know, you think that is that they will never try to take you down. They will lift you. That's the difference between great leaders and poor leaders. And I learned my lesson. From there, I said, never in my interaction with my clients, those who pay, or even with young people that I don't know, I will do my best not to frustrate. And for those who know me, they will see that I'm more even sensitive to genius. If you see me, you greet me, I will smile. I will try to say one or two good words, because you never know. That smile, that handshake, that picture he wants to with you can be the click that will give him hope, that will give him that possibility to believe in himself, and that maybe tomorrow things can be better. So I think leaders, we have more responsibility than we can even imagine. We can kill a young person, not by killing him with a gun, yes, but by killing his hope, what we told him, the way we reacted to him. Even when it will be a no, there's a way of saying it. It has been, for me, one of the biggest lessons.
And you have documented it as well to let people know.
I documented it. I put it in a book. I didn't give the names of those leaders, so don't ask me who were the president that I felt stupid.
What did they even tell you? Bro, no, probably you share. What did they tell you?
No, they were like, what is JCI president? You know, just traveling, you know. And, you know, you have even some journalists, you remember, I said it that in my travels as JCI president, I was surprised that my best interviews were not in Africa. I've said it to you many times. My best interview, you know, in Africa, the guy interview wants to kill
you down.
I don't know what is all this. You know, he will make sure
that you don't answer the
question. And no, but I saw, and God knows that I went all over the world in the best television in the world by the greatest journalist in the world in 2010. For me, it's the greatest thing God could do for me in 2010. So back, it was so easy. I was like, what is all this? You could even think that I've paid those Western journalists. But in Africa,
they are coming to humiliate
my
you.
God,
no.
He will abuse you. Why do you say this? What do you think like this? Are you sure like this? What is the hidden agenda? What you look at, and by the way, he has not even done his homework. Yeah, but then you didn't even see him. The guy's prepared. The way he presents you, like, wow. He will tell you, okay, Mr. President, these are the 3 goals of your mandate. You are already 6 months from your travel. How far? You know, it's so wonderful. I don't want to like kill Africa or insult. I'm very proud Africans.
I'm equally touched. And we had that conversation offline before. Yeah. So it's not a war.
No, it's not. Prepare your program.
Yes. Okay. Now let's talk leadership. We are still in Africa. Leadership experience and future of leadership in the African continent.
Yes.
Now, what unique leadership qualities emerge from Africa traditions and cultures?
I will say what comes to my mind is Ubuntu. You know, I am because you are. And this is, for me, the best thing that African could sell in the world. You know, Africans, by definitions, are people that are very welcome. Maybe that's why, you know, the colonial master could come and just do what he did.
Want to do because we allow our doors open.
We are but we shouldn't change. We should draw lessons, but we shouldn't change, because if we change our DNA, we'll become a different type of person. So I think the African, that solidarity, that resilience, that goodness, that generosity, where if I come to your house, you try to ask me to sit and give me food. You know, but today is changing. Now, if you come and say, Mr. Roland, why did you come without calling me? You know, we are becoming bats. Neither rats, neither. I think maybe I don't want to condemn, but let us not forget our African tradition.
Now, what kind of what leadership lessons can the world learn from Africa? Because apparently the world is failing. Like
Yes.
I told you a moment ago,
Yes.
the fight at the Oval Office
Yes.
between Donald Trump and Zelensky,
Yes.
the war at Gaza, the Middle East, so many troubles in
Yes.
the world.
I think Africa can teach the world resilience. We saw it during COVID. During COVID, everybody said Africa
would
would
die.
Yes, everybody. And
Our health care, porous health
poor
care
health
system.
care, we don't have this, but who died most? So I think I don't want to celebrate also mediocrity, because we need to work hard. If we have built infrastructures, if we have built the environment that were conducive, if we were promoting meritocracy against mediocrity, I'm sure Kingsley will have been very far. Africa is a land of promise. Africa is where everything started. If you read Sheikh Anta Diop in terms of Egyptology, you'll be amazed. Everything started here. And my conversation with Dalai Lama in 2010, I can't forget, November 10, 2010 in Osaka in Japan. It still resonates like yesterday, and that's one of the reasons why we accelerated Go Ahead Africa. I knew that when I finished my mandate, I had no doubt that I'll come back to
And set up
Africa
something.
and set up Go Ahead Africa. Now, let me be very honest. Africa is where everything started. And if Africa is not at peace, the world will not be at peace. So let those that from far or from near are doing what they are doing to make sure that there's trouble in Africa, humanity will not be at peace. So I think it's important, because this is where everything started. It started, Africa is the crate of humanity. But the question, Africans, are they even conscious? Look the way we dress. Look the way we eat. Look, when we are sick, we go to the Western world. When we want to celebrate our success, we go to the Western world. When we want to go to school, we give our certificate Western world. Even to eat, today we don't even eat. Some people are ashamed to eat arrow. They eat with fork. They eat actually with
the product of their own educational system.
Yes, so
you are not just bragging.
Want to enjoy, I visit you to show me that you come with a Western champagne, So we are in trouble if we don't sit quickly and go back to the root. What I've called it 3 times: the history. We must know our history. If we know our history, we'll more understand what is going on at this present age, what the complexity of the geopolitics. Then now, if we understand it, it will be easy for us to project ourselves in the
what
future.
What is still holding African leaders back from global influence? We have enormous resources. We have everything: forests, we have mineral resources, everything. But at the end of the day, we are still suffering. What is the problem?
I call it the African paradox. Very rich in terms of natural resources, but very poor in terms of, I think first is the inferiority complex. We are very, you and me, if I want to show that I've succeeded, that's the story I was telling you. Show me what you eat. Show me how you have fun, your entertainment. Show me where you go and treat yourself. Show me what you read. Show me all that, and then I will tell you. So the inferiority complex, even in the corporate world, people, they will, they don't. We go ahead. We started pushing even the dress code, our African proverb, our culture.
Since 7 years, I know you've never put on a suit.
This is almost my 10th year.
Your dressings are always intentional.
Shown by Africans. Why? We must produce what we consume, and we consume what we produce. It's not in the absolutely, but what can be produced here, please. And we must be intentional. In the beginning, my dresses were not as good as, but I was intentional. And today, the young guy in Nigeria, Maison Obina, who shows this, or in Cameroon, I have 3 guys here, in Mali, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Senegal. So I'm happy to say in Africa, these guys, they can do good job. I don't hide it. For me, Africa is Africa. My dress can come from Nigeria, I don't mind. From Cote d'Ivoire, I don't mind. We should stop focusing on what divides us than what unites us. What unites us is so powerful. If you, a Cameroonian, a Ivorian, a Nigerian, a Zimbabwean, will go to America or go to France, we are trekking. You know, the Western guy will not know who is a Zimbabwean, who is a Cameroonian. But it's us, yes. When I say good morning, okay, where are you coming from? No, I come from Cote d'Ivoire. Okay, I'm from Cameroon. Even when I say good morning, where you come from? Cameroon? Where in Cameroon? Look what? I saw it as JCI president. Where in Cameroon? In the West. Okay, where in the West? Or if I say in the Manu, Manu, where in Manu? Upper or down? until I find the little division, what we call in French, le plus petit dénominateur commun. I will try to look for what divides us. I can't, like, we are in Cameroon, I embrace. I will still look for it.
Wait.
Sometimes it's not bad faith. Don't get me wrong. But I can say I'm from Mutengene. I'm a Mutengene child. Why do you want to know if I'm a Bamileki or I'm Francophone? You know, but I'm very proud, and I want to greet my good brothers of Cham. I'm proud to say I'm a son of Mutengene. From 80 to almost 92, my childhood, my primary school, my best friends are there. And I want to be different. And my second city became Boya. Whereas I'm not from there, but it's for me the best city in the world. So again, let leaders stop looking for what divides. What unites us is more powerful than what divides us.
Let's go practical now. Talking about practical leadership strategies, maybe 3 habits that leaders should adopt. What are those 3 habits?
For me, what comes number 1 is meditation. We should always do reflection. You think before you speak. So when you are in the thinking strategy, it's amazing, because sometimes we're too emotional. So we should be very careful. For me, it's meditation, reflection, produce intellectual aspect. For me, it's very important. You have to maintain the brain as you are maintaining the muscle. The second is listening skills. The tendency or the trap of leadership is that since you are on the authority, you give instruction. So you speak and they say amen. So learn to listen. Listening, and that's why God gave us
2 ears
and 1 mouth. It's more difficult. I keep saying it.
1 mouth. It would have been 2 mouths.
It would have been 2 mouths, then the trouble. So he gave us 2 ears. You know it's difficult to listen, especially in a leadership position. You don't listen. And whereas if you develop listening skills, active listening skills, you have gained. So number 3, I would say it is important to think about, at the end of the day, what is the impact. Always measure. Not if something is not measured, then it's dangerous. That's why you see you guys can build a road of 60 kilometers in 12 years. In some countries, I was really impressed, like Rwanda. When they put a chantier, they will say beginning of the chantier, January 1st, 2024, and December 1st, 2024. But in Cameroon, they will say durée de chantier, the length of the chantier, 12 months. That is a dangerous thing to do.
12 months, they don't tell you the exact
Exactly, because that's why it can be 12 months. If I come after 3 months, I lose 12 months. I come after 1 year, it's still 12 months.
Calendar of God.
So we have to be very careful. Everything that is not measured cannot be achieved.
Okay, Coach, everything that is not measured cannot be achieved. Now, what about emerging leaders? What should they develop as resilience and adaptability within the context of the ever-changing world that we find ourselves?
Yeah, that was the impactor we had, and I want to thank Media Prime for covering it. I think the first competency in this core, they must be resilient. And resilience, we have in GoAhead, we have prepared for all our leaders what we have called the personal resilience journey, which is quite individual, because your capacity of resilience differ from your emotional strength, your physical health, your intellectual ability, the goals, your life goals. But most important, so your spiritual maturity.
So resilience is something on its own?
No, on its own.
What do you put in resilience?
I put in resilience, first element, physical well-being. You must be healthy physically so that you can be resilient.
Number 2, our leaders, do they have that quality?
They must. Number 1, physical well-being. They do keep fit. I personally, every day, I have 30 minutes keep fit. It's not difficult. Just put it YouTube, you do, and that's why you can be like this. Very important. Number 2 is emotional. How do you manage stress? How do you manage frustrations? How do you manage anger? How do you manage people lying? How do you manage some of your clients that will not pay on time? How do you manage, all all the energy that is gone. How do you manage traffic? How do you manage death all over the place? How do you manage those, the bent skin who insults you? How do you manage the guy that the traffic, you see, he does 3 lines where it should be 1 line? How do you manage a whole CEO that will finish to eat his banana and throw it on the floor? How do you manage people being so dirty? How do you manage people being so nasty? How do you manage your emotional and mental health? Other element, the intellectual aspect. You must be update.
Right? Yourself,
yes.
Read,
in your
read,
yes.
And you document
in your field. Certification. You are a journalist. What are the trend, the tendency, the new tendency of journalism taking in consideration artificial intelligence? If you want to be a special political journalist, what are the certification? You want to be an investigator, you want to be a sport journalist. What are you reading? What are the certifications that you have? Then now, as I've said the last, which is the spiritual resilience. Because at the end of the day, when God is with you, when God is around you, nobody will be against you. So what is your relationship with that God? So those are the elements that we put on the resilience, and now it will come out with what we have called the personal resilience journey. The number 2 will be agility. In this current, I will ask young people to be very agile. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. So how have you integrated technology? These young people, you cannot spend all the whole day on WhatsApp, TikTok. If there is not an element of empowering you, then there's trouble. It cannot be just fun, and fun.
Our time is taking hold of us.
Yes.
Roland, before we go, let me ask you this one last question before we talk about the 15th anniversary of GoAheadAfrica Limited. Sometimes ambition and integrity clash.
Yes.
So how do you strike a balance
I
between
think
these two?
we should be more
to be ambitious and then making sure that your integrity is intact. How do you strike a balance?
I will go more for values, for integrity, because it's more sustainable. You have talked about Nelson Mandela. Talk about all the men and women
so
that
you
humanity.
forget about your ambition.
Yes.
You want to become this.
Yes.
You have to stay.
It's not doing it at all costs. No compromission. No, be careful. If you're a young girl, you start to sleep with people to have position, it will backfire. A young person, so be very
so
careful.
how do you do to have the position if you
Work
don't want
hard.
to sleep with people?
Work hard. The secret is
how
hard
do you
work.
work hard?
Work hard.
They will tell you we've been working hard.
No, they are not working as hard. Then let them come. Roland Kwemain tell them, I sleep 4 hours a day since 2010. Let them come to go ahead. They'll see. They'll ask the staff. To have all the 80 companies that we have, we work hard. Since 2009, 4 hours a day. And I don't count how many days I've done what we call Venkato Chrono. 24 hours without sleeping. I can't count. So there's a price to pay. It's hard work.
You forget about being ambitious and
then
work
God,
towards values.
Then faith. It's not about doing it. It's not a do or die. It's not a do or die. Be a man or a woman of values. Then the rest will come. Not everybody will be Kingsley. Not everybody will Roland Kwemain. So be careful. Don't compete. Don't compare. Be yourself. Be authentic.
Thank you very much, Coach Roland Kwemain. Like I mentioned, we can't go without talking about the 15th anniversary of the company you created some 15 years ago. We are talking about Go Ahead Limited Africa, a leadership and consultancy firm based here in Douala, the nation's economic capital. Maybe you threw more light on that.
Yes, I want to thank you. 15 years of impact, 15 years of transformation. We want to thank all the companies and the stakeholders that trusted us. So we have identified 15 corporate organizations that will be trained for free. So every day it start on the 15th, I think 15th of April. We start training them for free. Then the ultimate event will be on the 22nd at Castle Hall with the gala where we are celebrating the 15th anniversary, but with a gift. We have written a book on how to transform organization in Africa, where we have 11 testimony of CEOs that work with us. So that will be the book as a 15 years anniversary gift. We have documented all this experience where if you are a leader, you are a manager, and you want to transform your company, transform your team, We have all the tools. What does it take to succeed transformation? Let me just share with you 5 elements. It's important for you to explain to your team, why do you want to change your strategy? Why do you want to transform? Why do you want to change? The context. Number 2, it's important for you to also listen to them. What are their fears, their worries? What is their understanding? How do they see that change? Number 3, you have to train. You need to coach them. Number 4, it is important that at this point you also work with those who are reluctant. Most of the time, weak leaders hate opponent. If I don't greet me well in my company, I sack you. No, you need opposition. Opposition is a blessing. If you listen to them, they bring many things to your organization. And last but not the number 5, you need to celebrate success. But celebrating success are with those who supported you. Not that when you want to celebrate your friends, you look for those who did nothing and they celebrate. This injustice, what we call nepotism, arbitrary, has been a huge weakness for African organizations.
Yes, Roland Kwemain, our country definitely, or leaders in our own country are definitely listening to us. Maybe you have a word for them.
I would say 2025
Cameroon is dirty, Yaoundé is dirty, Douala is dirty.
Yes.
A lot of problems.
It's a pity. It's sad. And sometimes we're ashamed to be Cameroonian. We that travel around the world. But again, after saying that, it's our responsibility, it's our duty. There's a Muslim saying that I love, each community has leader that it deserves. So if Cameroon is in the mess, we deserve that mess. So if we don't want it, we know what to do.
Okay, if you don't want it, we know what to do. Thank you so much, Coach Roland Kwemain, for coming or answering present on this edition of The Agenda. We're grateful you came.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.